am visiting with Kate Quast. She and Smooth and Fuzzy were the 3D Open champions at Pink Buckle 2021, held in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Kate, this is a really fun story. You mentioned, we were talking before we hit record, you mentioned that this mare has taught you a lot. Can you delve into that a little deeper for me?
So Smooth and Fuzzy, she's she's a really dynamic mare. She really likes to do things her way, and as a trainer, sometimes you want to ask them to kind of fit your style, and she's been a really big reminder that you have to let them be the individuals that they are rather than the individuals that you want them to be. So like having her grow into her own and kind of like me having to take a step back and kind of just be along for the ride, it's really helped me with not just her, but like with all of my colts right now.
I love that. Now, how long have you been riding her?
So she started with Tammy Seamus at the beginning of this maturity year, and then I've been on her for about 3 months. I got on her right after the Ruby Buckle in Guthrie.
Okay, awesome. Help us get to know you a little bit better. Tell us about your background and what you're up to now, what your day-to-day looks like.
So like background wise, I've kind of always been that horse crazy kid, like always obsessed with them, always wanted to be around them, and thank God that's got me way farther in life than anything else would have. And like day to day, like every morning I wake up and I'm just excited to get out there and get on them and kind of help them become the individuals that they are and shape them for the futures that they deserve.
You mentioned that even though you live in Utah now and you're training full time, that's not where you started. Tell us more about where you grew up.
So I grew up in New York State, in the Hudson Valley. Every time you say New York, everyone's like, "Oh, you grew up in the city." No, I actually grew up in the middle of the forest, but lived there until I was 17. When my dad retired, we moved out to St. George, Utah, where I finished high school, and from there I went to Texas for a little bit. I came back to Utah, came up to Salt Lake, and kind of been all around.
What do you feel like the most important thing that horses have taught you? What is that lesson for you?
Um, the most important thing is just that like you can't force them to be something that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And like they have to be themselves. They have to find their own style. They have to do it their own way. And like as a trainer, you're really just a conduit to let them do that and to let them shine. Like you can't go into it like this is something for me. You have to do it for them, or else it just won't work.
Mm-hmm.
The good ones will take that and give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been blessed in my life to be able to experience that a time or two.
Yeah, that's so good. That's such good advice. Who have been some of your biggest mentors and teachers in your journey as a trainer?
Some of my biggest teachers and mentors probably would be like Tammy Ritter. She taught me a lot of what I knew in New York, and she put me on one of my very first fast horses, Tizia at 6, and she's actually really similar to Smooth and Fuzzy, so that's probably why I like her so much. Lance and Keith, they're the guys I work for. I've learned a lot from them about running a business and like kind of how to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are some of the top dogs in the industry, and I'm definitely lucky to be around them every day. Clint's helped me a lot too, so he's been awesome. I've also learned a lot from Marika Skinner, just in like the colt kind of like starting colts, staying with them, and kind of letting them grow. She's really, really cool about that, and she's got a really, really unique way of working with them that's really quiet, and she gets the most out of them, probably better than any other colt starter I've rode behind. So
awesome. That is so
she's
great.
a really good friend.
So important to have those resources and mentors to help us grow. My final question for you is if, say, a young girl or guy was watching this and maybe they didn't grow up in the epicenter of horse country, but they have this dream and they have this passion similar to what you said, just always been that horse crazy kid. How can they get to where you are today? What's your best advice for them?
My best advice about that is to just like always go out there with a will to work and like always go out there 110%. And just like, it sounds really silly, but I've gotten probably 90% of my opportunities from trying to be a kind person. Like, how you interact with others and yourself and your horses is really telling to how far you'll go. And if you're someone who forces that, like, it won't work. If you're someone who gets aggressive, it won't work. People see that, horses sense it, and they all respond accordingly. So if you're really going to go out, like, you have to be aware, and you have to be able to receive criticism and receive all that with an open heart, and like take it and use it for your just kind of use it to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So just be happy that you're able to do it, because most people are not.
Mm-hmm. That is so beautifully said. Kate, thank you so much for coming to Pink Buckle. We're thrilled for your success and can't wait to see you there next year.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really blessed to be able to go.